Alright guys, what is going on? It is your least favorite vlogger, Brian636. Now, if you are one of those guys that only likes my crazier videos, you know, my hood eats, the big epic rides, I'll go ahead and click off this one. But for everyone who has been asking for updates on this bike, definitely going to want to stick around and see this one. This will most likely be the last video that I'm doing on this bike before it is literally riding down the street and I can actually go out and make a motovlog on it. And in my first video on this, I went and explained how I'm going to put a Grom motor, ECU, swing arm, all the good stuff that Honda got right into the Super Pocket Bike and basically make something that I wish would have been made from the get-go. This thing has definitely thrown me a lot of curveballs and I really am looking forward to showing them to you guys. Let's do it.
Alright guys, so after trying to get this motor in for what seems like forever, I finally came over here and I started looking at them compared to each other. These motor mounts are a little bit different. So these bottom ones are exactly the same. They're all the same width. This top one that this one bolts into is a little bit farther back here on the Grom. So we will be able to still utilize this stock frame, but I think we are going to have to chop off these front motor mounts right down the middle like that. That way we can run two motor mounts in the back. And just for comparison, look at how much bigger the Grom motor is. It's a little bit longer, a little bit girthier, just a little bit different. So we're gonna go ahead and chop off those front motor mounts. It's really gonna kill me to do that, but I think we have to. Alright guys, just when we thought frame modification was done, I am going to have to cut those front support beams there, as the Grom motor has proven to be not only too wide but also too long. So we're going to go ahead and cut. Alright guys, so I ended up having to drill out the different motor mounts, as this is a little bit different of a pattern than the Chinese motor. Not a big deal, it still drops in place pretty good. Had to go a little bit lower here, and we're gonna have to go just a tad bit lower up top as well. Had to trim these motor mounts. In between now and then, there's been a lot of cursing, a lot of confusion, because I don't know anyone else who's really experimented and done this before. But yeah, it's kind of a pain, but we're making it work, and that motor is falling into place really well. I just got the rear bolts in, and already it's pretty sturdy in there. So I'm gonna get the top motor mount, and the motor will be in after that. We are good to go, people. Alright guys, so as you know, the Grom motor is fuel injected, and one of the biggest hurdles that I was going to run into was, of course, having the fuel pump that comes stock in the Grom tank compared to the gravity-fed piece of shit plastic that comes on these Super Pocket bikes. Thank God we have an expert welder here, Richie, who can weld up a nice little exact replica tank, all in metal, so the Grom fuel pump fits right in there. Should be able to have the exact same performance as the old tank, just a little bit smaller capacity. So excited to get this thing on here.
want Daddy's fireball? Probably.
I just got done for 3 days.
All right, guys, so one of the first issues that we ran into with this Grom motor in here was, of course, the motor mounts, which is why we already cut up the frame and whatnot. We were able to get one of the back motor mounts in there really, really well. The motor is not even moving at all. But of course, when we're out there dropping the clutch and shit, we don't want this motor to be twisting. And we're gonna be doing a bottom motor mount, much like a Chinese pocket bike comes with. And I think the X18s, they had like a lower plate like that where the motor bolted in. And these Grom motors come stock with tapped holes in the bottom of them. We're actually gonna use a little piece of this step plate from A-Town here and cut out so we can drill 2 holes into the bottom of it and pretty much make our second and third engine mounts. And after that, this thing should be extremely sturdy in there. It already is, but you know, we don't want to have this thing all together and have the motor twist.
Exclusive.
All right, guys, I really didn't want to cut up this headlight much, but I knew I needed to get the Grom headlight in there. So I basically just drilled a hole, put 2 screws in it like that so it sits in there nice and sturdy, electric taped around there to make sure no water gets in, and put the factory boot of the Honda Grom onto the headlight here. I'm going to go ahead and seal this up. That way we have a nice, good, bright headlight. Make sure everyone can see us on this little gangster-ass little piece.
Do a little mock-up.
Next up on the list is this exhaust. Couple little things that we ran into and that Richard pointed out. The first and probably most obvious is this fuel line is where the Grom stock fuel filter went. And as you can see, it's touching the exhaust, which gets pretty freaking hot. And we don't want gasoline rubbing onto a hot exhaust and causing a gas fire mid-wheelie. That would be the worst nightmare ever. So we're going to probably utilize the stock pocket bike header, right? Stock pocket bike header. And then a custom little fab of the old Grom exhaust pipe here where it used to come from the muffler from the header, and make a detachable piece to run it through the frame and keep it away from that highly flammable gas. And then on the backside, we're going to utilize the stock pocket bike exhaust. So it's going to be a 3-piece ordeal. Super pocket bike, Grom in the middle, super pocket bike up front. And it's going to be kind of a Frankenstein, but hopefully it keeps our gasoline cool and our exhaust routed away from everything important.
Clark's exclusive.
Couch, but 90% of the time she's in bed.
Yeah, like normally starts off in our bed.
I think these are all into the positive. These ones are.
We got the whole harness on there, kind of, I don't know, janky rig down there. I don't have everything in its permanent positions. Most of the harness is not on the right side. Most of it is here on the left side. I have a lot of like the ECU. A lot of the electrical stuff is all on this side. Little zip ties here and there. Not everything's gonna go in the stock places. Ignition, rub the metal bare to get a good ground on it, and put some gas in this thing, just a little bit. And I really want to just turn it over and see what we got going on here. We'll come over here. Battery's on, we're good there. Come over to the ignition. She lives! She lives! Look at that! Oh my God. We got a fuel injected pocket bike, people. That is crazy.
Exclusive. Clark's exclusive.
Bubba Pepper, get my 44 up off the jumper narrow. Bubba Pepper, get my 44 up off the jumper narrow. Bubba Pepper, get my 44 up off the jumper narrow. Bubba Pepper, get my 44 up off the jumper narrow. Bubba Pepper, get my 44 up off the jumper narrow. Bubba Pepper, get my 44 up off the jumper narrow. Bubba Pepper, get my 44 up off the jumper narrow. Bubba Pepper, get my 44 up off the jumper narrow. Bubba Pepper, get my 44 up off the jumper narrow. Bubba Pepper, get my 44 up off the jumper narrow. Bubba Pepper, get my 44 up off the jumper narrow. Bubba Pepper, get my 44 up off the jumper narrow. Bubba Pepper, get my 44 up off the jumper narrow. Bubba Pepper, get my 44 up off the jumper narrow. Bubba Pepper, get my 44 up off the jumper narrow. Bubba Pepper, get my 44 up off the jumper narrow. Bubba Pepper, get my 44 up off the jumper narrow. Bubba Pepper, get my 44 up off the jumper narrow. Bubba Pepper, get my 44 up off the jumper narrow. Bubba Pepper, get my 44 up off the jumper narrow. Bubba Pepper, get my 44 up off the jumper narrow.
Clark's exclusive.
Alright guys, so the handlebars are on, the dash is on, the front end is almost completely on, and I'm literally just gonna pound the bearings into these drills, start throwing them on, but I really felt like I should give you guys an update on this. If you guys are enjoying this build, if this build is informative to you at all, if you guys have any questions, make sure to put them down there too. I do my best to go ahead and get those answered. Shout out to Richie for helping me out with this. Shout out to Ramsey for helping me with powder coating. Shout out to Richie for helping me with the seats. There's just so many people that have helped me out with this build so far, and I really am grateful. It's pretty crazy to see it all come in the light. My OCD is driving me crazy that there is a little bit of a mess on the workbench right now, but this thing is coming along, and I could not be any more happy. If you guys are new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Leave me a comment down below, like the video. You guys know what to do. This is your least favorite motovlogger, Brian636, signing out. I love you guys. Peace.